On a 12% gradient at Paris-Nice, Jonas Vingegaard rises out of the saddle, and the entire World Tour peloton vanishes behind him. Roglic, Pogačar, Evenepoel, Van Aert, not one of them can respond. By the summit, the general classification gap reads 4 minutes and 23 seconds, a margin so violent that broadcasters, analysts, and rivals were all left asking the same question: how is this even possible? The peloton grinds at the foot of Uchon, legs already burning from hours of attrition, but Jonas Vingegaard is coiled and waiting. At exactly 5:55 on the climb's GPS clock, he stands out of the saddle and detonates the race. Telemetry records 540 watts in the first surge, an effort that snaps the group in a single, violent motion. Lenny Martinez scrambles to hold his wheel, but behind them, the world's best. Primoz Roglic, Tadej Pogacar, Remco Evenepoel, and Wout van Aert are frozen, unable to match the acceleration. The gap does not open gradually, it explodes. 30 seconds in, less than a minute. The chase hesitates, radios crackle, and by the time the gradient bites harder, Vingegaard is already gone. Head dropped, cadence high, eyes fixed on the summit's switchbacks. Every second on the split sheet is a hammer blow. Roglic loses contact, then suffers a rear puncture just as the climb's steepest ramp hits. Pogačar tries to respond but cannot lift the pace. Evenepoel swings wide on a hairpin, losing his rhythm as the road surface turns slick from the earlier drizzle. The gap grows, 45 seconds, then over a minute. Team Visma. Lease-a-Bike's radio is calm, almost clinical. Jonas, hold 5.6 watts per kilo. Lenny, stay tight. The chasing group drops to 4.7, then 4.5. No one can claw back a single meter. Pressure mounts with every hairpin. Brake dust swirls in the cold air. Tires scream for grip, but Vingegaard's line never falters. His power zone holds steady, telemetry peaking at 620 watts over the last 200 meters of the steepest stretch. The only sound is the whir of his drivetrain and the faint, desperate calls from rival directors on the open team channel. By the summit, the time gap is a sayesm, 1 minute 5 seconds, then 1 minute 10 seconds, then 2 minutes. The clock is merciless. The peloton is scattered down the mountain, each rider's face a mask of disbelief. When Vingegaard crests the final ramp, Martinez is the only one within sight, but even he is 4 seconds behind. The finish clock freezes at 4 minutes and 23 seconds ahead of Roglic. Pogačar comes in 4 minutes and 19 seconds down. Evenepoel at 4 minutes and 16 seconds. The numbers are so stark they seem unreal, a general classification gap not seen since the days of Merckx or Hinault. In the space of a single climb, modern cycling's balance of power has been shattered. The world's best climbers have been reduced to spectators, chasing shadows up a mountain that now belongs to Jonas Vingegaard. The clock hadn't finished ticking before the noise began. France TV's broadcast booth erupted in disbelief, voices colliding. One commentator shouting, "C'est historique! 4 minutes 23!" while another's words tumbled over the finish clock. This is not just Paris-Nice. This is a new order. The audio crackled with the sound of experts struggling to catch up to the numbers on the screen. In the background, ex-riders and analysts tripped over each other's sentences, searching for reference points and coming up empty. No one could remember a gap this wide in the modern era, not on a mountain stage, not with the field stacked with Tour de France champions and Grand Tour specialists. Within minutes, the shock spilled beyond the broadcast. At 12:14 UTC, Twitter's hashtag Paris-Nice 2026 surged past 12,000 live tweets. Cycling fans from Denmark to Colombia hammered out messages in real time. Vingegaard is invincible. Roglic and Pogačar left for dead. This is Merckx level. The Cycling News live blog, usually a steady stream of split times and cautious optimism, switched tone mid-sentence. Vingegaard is not just attacking the race, he's rewriting the script. The first English-language headline to hit the wire called it era-defining, and within an hour, the phrase was trending across cycling forums and fan pages. Commentators scrambled for context. "We're watching something that happens once in a generation," said a stunned analyst on the France TV post-stage show. On NBC Sports, Bob Roll's voice cracked as he tried to process the gap. 4 minutes, 23 seconds, Primoz Roglic, Tadej Pogacar, Remco Evenepoel, all out of the picture. This is the kind of dominance you read about in history books, not see live. Even the live cycling news blog, usually wary of hyperbole, posted, "This is a Merckx or Hinault moment. The Peloton just got broken." The numbers themselves became a kind of folklore, spreading through group chats and podcasts before the riders had even cooled down. Fans clipped the finish clock and looped it on social media, the yellow digits freezing at 4 minutes 23 seconds, as if the sport itself had stopped to stare. Forum threads exploded with disbelief and awe. "GC gaps like this don't happen anymore," wrote one poster. Another replied, "They do now. Vingegaard just changed the rules." In the press room, journalists began rewriting their stories before the official quotes had landed. Headlines from L'Equipe, Cycling Weekly, and Gazzetta dello Sport all echoed the same sentiment. Paris-Nice belonged to Jonas Vingegaard, and so did the future. The performance wasn't just a win, it was a warning. For every rival who thought the era of Grand Tour dominance was over, the numbers on the screen said otherwise. The shockwave wasn't just in the time gap, it was in the realization that the balance of power had shifted, and nothing in professional cycling would look the same again. Delivered a single measured command. "Jonas, you are in the front group. When the gradient bites, sit on it. Lenny, stay on his wheel. No urgency, just the execution of a plan refined to the smallest detail." Sepp Kuss and Wilco Kelderman, the mountain domestiques, had already spent an hour at the front, setting tempo, absorbing wind, and shutting down attacks. Their work was invisible but essential. Control the approach, then disappear, leaving Vingegaard shielded for the decisive moments. Equipment choices were debated to the decimal, a test of precision. The team settled on 25mm tyres at 7 bar, a deliberate move for Uchon's slick stone and unpredictable gravel. Brake pads were swapped at the last feed, anticipating treacherous hairpins where a single mistake could end the day. These decisions, unseen by spectators, defined the margin between grip and disaster. As the climb steepened, Vingegaard's power meter rose to 540 watts in the first surge, then a steady 5.6 watts per kilogram. The radio stayed calm. "Jonas, hold the zone. Lenny, tight. No panic." Behind, Roglic and Pogacar's numbers faded, telemetry showing them dropping to 4.7, then 4.5 watts per kilogram. Evenepoel's data later revealed a heart rate spike as he lost the wheel, a physiological edge carved by preparation. The final 200 meters produced the signature effort, 620 watts, a burst that left rivals gasping. Every detail, from tire pressure to pacing, was measured and rehearsed. What looked chaotic was in fact control, dominance engineered, not improvised. Jonas Vingegaard's rise from Hilleslev's quiet roads to Tour de France champion is a story of scale, personal, financial, and historical. The boy from North Jutland now stands at the center of cycling's most intense rivalries. His back-to-back Tour victories and relentless duels with Tadej Pogacar reshaping the sport's expectations. At Paris-Nice, he didn't just win, he carved out a 4 minutes and 23 seconds gap, a number that reverberates through cycling's record books. Team Visma Lease-a-Bike operates with resources that dwarf those of Merckx, Hinault, or Indurain. Budgets now stretch from €20 million to €60 million, with Visma near the top. Every euro is channeled into sports science, altitude training, nutrition, and data analysis. The result is a team built for precision, able to dismantle rivals like Roglic, Evenepoel, and Van Aert on the steepest climbs. Yet, dominance isn't just about money. Merckx once gained over 10 minutes in a Tour time trial. Hinault and Indurain turned summit finishes into processions, but such gaps were rare even then. In an era where science and investment have compressed the field, Vingegaard's 4 minutes and 23 seconds at Paris-Nice is a rupture, a performance against champions armed with every modern advantage. Commercial impact follows. Sponsors and equipment partners see their brands elevated worldwide. A ride like Uchon drives bike sales, social media surges, and global exposure, feeding a cycle of investment and expectation. That 4 minutes and 23 seconds gap is now a benchmark, a new standard by which future champions and rivalries will be measured. In today's UCI World Tour, every rival now races Jonas Vingegaard's shadow, and that gap of 4 minutes 23 seconds haunts the sport. Paris-Nice 2026 redefined what is possible in professional cycling. The line between legend and dominance just moved. The Peloton is chasing history, but history now rides in yellow. Drop your perspective below.